think where are we?
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Leeds Bros. I don't know why the intro didn't play, but whatever. Anyway, Leeds got a draw at Newcastle at Ellen Road. What do you think of that one, Jam?
Yeah, I'm actually really pleased with the result, to be honest, mate. It's exactly what we wanted, really. I mean, a bounce back from the last two games and the last two performances. I think that's exactly what it's sort of the shot in the arm that we desperately needed. Thought the intensity was there. I thought the sort of something that we just lacked in the last two games. I think we've really did. Again, there's areas that we do need to improve on. I mean, moving forward, we are very toothless and doesn't seem to be much quality there in regards to that. But I'm actually not going to take anything away from the boys really, because I thought they really dug in and put in a bit of effort. And I mean, you could see the crowd at the end of the game; they were all behind them, and that's perfect. Really, 4 point. When you think about put it in perspective, 4 points from 9, and you're looking at Everton have won again today, so I think they're quite high up in the table now. Arsenal, and Newcastle are certainly no mugs. So 4 points from the first three is a great start for, like I think Jamie Carragher said, is a great start for a newly promoted team. But yeah, really happy, mate. To be honest, again, there are certain areas where I would like us to see now some couple of signings in. But yeah, what were your thoughts, mate? What did you think on the game itself?
I actually thought within the first 20 minutes, I think Ellen Road was rocking, and I think we could
Yeah.
all hear that on the telly. And Darren was ringing me and sending me videos and voice notes and the whole lot. And you couldn't even hear what he was trying to say half of the time with the way Ellen Road was. But to be honest with you, I didn't expect it. Look, I did call a draw. I said 2-2. Expected goals. Obviously
Yeah.
there was no goals in it. It was a good few chances. Probably not unbelievable chances, but definitely chances and improvement. A much big improvement from what I've seen against Everton. Obviously Arsenal, and then the League Cup as well. But certain players to me definitely stood out, especially in the first half. I thought Nanto was phenomenal on that right hand side, alongside obviously Bogle as well. That part, Goodmunson. I thought Nanto just played phenomenal for me. I thought he was definitely the man for the match of the first half. Seeing him getting taken off, obviously with Calvert-Lewin coming on, it was great to see. Felt a bit let down by Meche. No fault of his own. It just felt like he couldn't really get into the game an awful lot. And then Dan James, your man, I thought he picked up the pace. It was probably the best game we've seen him. It wasn't unbelievable, don't get me wrong, but he was definitely better from what we've seen in the last time. But then, I'm not trying to take it away from the performance of Leeds, but would you say to a certain degree that Newcastle didn't really come out full swinging?
I think to be honest with you, it's probably a mixture of both. Maybe the thing is, Dillo, they've got to look at that as well as looking, 3 points for them. They come to Ellen Road, a newly promoted team. They've got to look at that game and think we need to get points out of this game. So I get where you're coming from. They look like they didn't look like the Newcastle of old today. There's something isn't quite right there. But I think the conditions as well, and I think to be fair, credit to us, I think we actually put the pressure on them. We seem to be all over Bruno. I don't know. I think that must have been part of the game plan, is be all over Bruno and see if we can nullify him in the midfield. But
you can see Darren is here now.
Oh, here's Darren.
Oh, hold on now. I'm at the removing him. I'll let him back in. Hold on now.
Ah, it's just
We can
wondering
try and
now.
get this going.
Can see. Yeah, it's fine. But yeah,
There we
no. Yeah, I thought that was a great game plan. Here he is.
Here he is.
Here
he is.
I think he's.
Can't really hear him. Can't really see him. The man wanted to join, but anyway, Jam. Yeah, look, we'll get into a few comments anyway.
Get into comments.
Going to get us few going. So anyway, it's very slow, this laptop. Sorry, guys. What part of Wales are you from? John. I think your name is John, Jam.
Well, I mean, that's my middle name, so he's sort of partly right there. But I live in Cardiff myself, so yeah, I'm not sure. I think Pierre's Welsh as well, so I'm not sure where you live, mate. But yeah, let us know in the comments, mate.
Comes in again with all efforts, our efforts coping with Newcastle, 5 in defence, 10th in the league. When you look at it like that, Jam, it's actually not that bad, is it?
Not at all, mate. No, and that's that's where sort of Newcastle. That's what they sort of base their merits on at the moment. Is they are very strong at the back. I mean, Dan Burn is a giant.
Yeah, he's a big lad.
You don't realise how big he is, and he's actually a really good defender as well. That's first and foremost. I mean, you looking at the game, I'm thinking, right, Dan James is going to have him on toast, but he reads the game so well, and they got some. That's Shearer and Botman at the back. That's just it's difficult, and they are a good team. They're going to be at their top 8 team probably this season as well. So yeah, very difficult to break them down, but yeah, it's again. I'm just taking credit. I'm taking positivity from. I really didn't expect this performance still, to be honest with you, from after the last 2 games, and we've come out and we've done that. But who would you say? You touched on Nondo there, which is sort of player of the match. Who would you? Is that your
from definitely the first half? Sorry for going just from the first half. I just thought he was more or less our star man. He was, he was constantly moving. He was looking for the ball. He was laying off, certain passes. I think he got in the right areas for me. Definitely, I just thought it was a real step up for Nando. But if I have to say man of the match, and I'm being completely honest with you here, lads, and I know Carragher gave it, but as Click Rage here just say, Longstaff was excellent, and to be honest with you, lads, he put in a serious shift for me. It's not easy to come up against, your hometown boy club of 18 years and put out a performance like that. He had Bruno in his back pocket. He was putting in unbelievable challenges. I thought he moved the ball. He held very well. Like he wasn't. I thought he played very well, considering how much last week we seen him, and then that kind of. There was a lot of noise coming around about the midfield and who was coming in, who was coming out. I thought the midfield doing very well, but Longstaff for me was definitely player of the match. I don't know about you.
He was great deal, wasn't he? He was literally on them straight away. Like I touched on, really. I think their game plan was to sort of to nullify their midfield, Tonali and Guimaraes, and every time I think it was in the first half a few times, they nearly got caught out a few times. If we had a little bit of extra quality in the final third, I think we could have made them pay. But yeah, honestly, I really impressed with him. He did all the little simple things well, and also that's what you need from a midfielder in there. I don't want someone that's his job at the end of the day, like Roy Keane says. But get in there, put a tackle in, and just play the ball simple. And it's good I'm glad for him as well because he needed that performance. Because in front of a full Ellen Road crowd, I think that's going to do him the world of good, really. But a couple of things, Dill. Actually, what did you think of the? Because you just touched on there, you said Nando was one of your players of the game. Do you think it was a bit of a strange sub, or would you have gone there with Farker?
Yeah, well, look, there was times there with Jack Harrison when he came on. I thought, his crossing can be hit and miss sometimes.
Yeah.
I just feel like with Brendan Aronson, he done a nice little kind of cut-in dribbling move, as you would say, to get into the box, lay it off to Bogle, and he kind of chipped it in, but I was disappointed. I feel like if Nando had been on the end of that, I think Calvert-Lewin would have got a bit more feet, if I'm being completely honest. But look, at the end of the day, I was thinking of this before I came on. If we had got a late winner, well, then Fark did get the subs right, so it's kind of 50-50.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking, mate. It was like, we're going to look, again with eggs on our faces here by saying, why has he done that? But then
exactly. But I got to go back to Ian Ward here. Happy with that point. I think we all are. And considering, if we had said last week, you take a point on Newcastle, considering, the bad form against Arsenal, and then obviously being getting dropped out of the cup, we probably would have snapped the hand off for the point straight away, would you?
100%. You would. You just literally, if you're looking, like you just touched on there, Dillo, before the games, the fixtures when they got released, you're looking at the first few fixtures and you're thinking, right, actually, that's a really good points return. I mean, Everton now, like I touched on it a little bit earlier in the chat, the start they've had to the season after losing to us, they've got 2 wins, I believe. I think they've won the last 2 games. Arsenal is Arsenal. You're going to go there, and you're not going to probably come away with many points. But tonight, Newcastle, that could have gone either way. They could have easily beaten us 3 or 4, but we actually turned up and put in a display like that. So I'm looking at it now as in, that's just 4 points. I can't remember the teams last year, the promoted teams, having that many points after 3 games. I might be wrong there, but we've really got to take positives from that now, and I think it's evident now because I do want to sort of touch on in a little bit, but is evident where we need strengthening, because I think if we do stay as we are at the moment, I do worry for us a little bit. But now it's up to the 49ers and Farker for them to all come together now and really sort of bring in that fresh bit of talent that we need in the attacking thirds, because we're not clinical enough. We had a few chances today. I believe that we could have opened the defence up with a bit more quality in there. But yeah, mate, it's interesting. Now we got an international break. Let's get it, let's sort of re-energise and see where we go from there. But
And hopefully get a few players in before the window shuts.
That's it, mate. That's it. That's exactly what we need. We just need to have a little bit of stardust, like you always touched on in other weeks, And when it's sat here now, but for me, the most important thing, which I actually was going to touch on, Dill, it was just the performance tonight that we all needed as fans. If we just turned up and scraped a 0-0, but I think we were more than worthy for our point tonight against Newcastle. So just the effort was there and the endeavour. So yeah, like I've said like 100 times in this video already, really happy with the point, because Newcastle are going to go to teams and get points this season. Okay, that you can argue that they're not at full strength, but technically we aren't either without Tanaka and Ampadu. That's the way I see it. So yeah,
I suppose when you put it that way. Anyway, we'll say hello to a few other people. We have Michael in the building. He says solid performance.
Yeah.
Ian Ward again, Leeds press Bruno, that's stopping playing. Yeah, I think 100%. I think Longstaff was definitely played a good part in that.
Yeah.
Just going, hold on now 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. If LUFC in, it's great, but it was like championship football tonight. Newcastle where it was poor, and that brings me back to what I was saying to you, Jam. I'm not kind of shining away from the performance. Look, it's a draw. We take it. It is what it is. We move on. Still unbeaten at home, but what I'm not necessarily saying it's definitely championship football, what we've seen tonight, but I didn't think Newcastle brought 110% to the game. Would you agree?
Completely. Yeah, I think that's a really good comment there. I get the comment as in championship football, because it did at times. It felt a bit like...
It was slow and sluggish at times.
Yeah, and without sounding sort of disrespectful to Leeds tonight, I thought maybe you could say it was a bit of a cup game vibe as well, in a way, just sort of like making it difficult and in their faces. But yeah, bang on, really. I think championship football. But we know where we need to improve as a club, and it's up to the board now to really. We have to really get going now, because otherwise, we can't have. Again, I'm not digging him out, but we can't have Aronson coming on in the Premier League. We just can't. So.
Which brings us on to our next comment from Michael. Right with the 4 points, but we need to add to our attack.
Yeah.
Or we're, as you would say. And I think that's, what you were saying there about Brendan Aronson. And Darren said it the other night, was it last night? The last stream we done anyway. And he basically just said, he's calling it how it is, and I don't blame him because I'm with him on it. And I'm not just saying that because we're together in this in this YouTube sphere, but I don't know where Brendan Aronson fits into this team. And I'm not trying to shine away from the performance or certain individuals or the point itself, but just a little bit frustrating considering Ramazani goes out on loan and Brendan Aronson comes more or less in, and obviously Jack Harrison there as well. Now, to be fair, I thought Harrison done all right.
Yeah, and I think sorry, Dale, just cutting out. I think that's the frustration with Aronson is, I know, listen, there's this narrative, he runs a lot and he puts pressure on, he does, but the one thing that really annoys me about him is when he's got a bit of open space to run into, but he cuts back in, and then he just completely slows the tempo down then, and then he just plays it back to the right back. I just don't know whether that's a lack of confidence or football intelligence or not, but again, I'm not digging him out. I'm just highlighting points that just frustrate me with him, because listen, if I'm gonna give him positivity, he does work his socks off, and that's all well and good. He
does, 100%.
As fans, but again, we've sort of taken sentiment out of it. We need more quality. We can't keep turning. Because if he is one of our main subs this season, I am really worried. But touching on that, Dill, like in regards to like transfers, is there anyone you specifically would like to see it in enemy shirt? Coming in that attacking period.
I think the noise is all being around Hamer at the minute. Everything that I've seen on the Twitterverse or wherever social media that you're on, it seems to be Hamer now. I watched I think the first 10 minutes of the Sheffield United game, but look, we'll talk about us. I think with Hamer, probably just going to come in. I think that's more or less we're going to get. If Muniz comes in, which is going to be unlikely as well. But I want to touch on another player as well. I thought that was very good tonight, Cham. I don't know about you, but Good old Gabby Goodmunson. I think in the first half he was solid,
Yeah,
110%. I thought he every tackle that he was making, he was doing the overlap runs. He was just really dominant on that left hand side. What do you
I
think?
I agree with you, mate. Yeah, I think he was another one of the players who I was really impressed with actually today. He sort of, I think he just again is he does all the simple things really well. Still,
Yeah,
you know, it's sort of like when he has the ball, he doesn't sort of he doesn't look nervous on the ball. That's what I'm trying to get at. He's just sort of like right. You always pick the right pass, or you'll hit the ball down the line. Now I don't mind that because at the end of the day, I don't want him putting a silly pass into the middle where there's nobody there. Just get it down the line. So he has got. I'm been really impressed with him so far because he looks like a real solid sign at a left back. And sometimes you think he'll take the ball forward and he'll run forward. He's quite quick as well. You can beat one or two men and he carries the ball quite well. I think again it's when you go in that final third. You're looking at the quality that we have, and you're looking at you've got Dan James. As much as I love Dan James on the right, but then you've got Willie Nonto on the left. Again, he's got quality, but Metcha. I
I
know
feel
I've
with
gone.
Meche, he just didn't seem to. It was a difficult game for him. It was at one stage I seen, and that's mad how we've seen this because Darren has said it religiously. Why do we keep playing out from the back and putting ourselves under serious pressure?
Yeah,
It was at one stage Perry had the ball and he was telling everyone to push up the field, and with that Newcastle were trying to push up as well, so everyone was just rammed in the middle of the park.
yeah,
Newcastle had to back off, and I just genuinely think that there's going to be improvement in this team. Perry, I've definitely seen a lot of improvements. Still a lot
yeah,
to work on, obviously, going into this window, but good Munson for me, I thought it was very good. Definitely in the first half. Between him, James,
yeah.
and Lonto, for me, like,
Right.
I think Longstaff was just steady the whole game and just
Yeah,
broke up every bit of play that came his way, done the simple passes. I'm actually very pleased with Longstaff. I feel a bit harsh on this. I didn't think he'd be as good as what he
yeah,
is, as what he's
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
proven to us. Um, but yeah, with Mecha, going back to Mecha, it just anything that kind of came near him bounced off him. So he was trying too hard at times, and then at the same time, not trying to be harsh on him, didn't really get anything, if that makes sense, to try and make an impact.
yeah. The thing is, the frustrating thing for me is like everyone. It kind of made Perry look worse than what the
Yeah,
kick was, if you know what I
yeah,
mean. So it basically the kick was there was nothing wrong with the kick. If I'm being completely honest, I think he was hitting the kicks pretty much straight, where he needed to be. But he wasn't. Sometimes he just wasn't strong enough. Just like the one time I think we got a free kick from it, which he actually backed his backside up against the player. I think it was Shearer, and we actually got a free kick from that. Now, Why didn't you keep doing
yeah,
that and putting your body on the line and
yeah.
little things like that? Or can bring just free kicks or anything, set pieces. But I do want to. Now you've just touched on that, Dill. I do actually want to give credit to Perry tonight because at the end of the day, like everyone was slamming him for the ball at his feet, and he's not very good. Which okay, he might not be the best, but again, his kicking sometimes maybe was a bit wayward. But listen, I think he's going to grow into it. I think he's one of them that he just looks like a bit of a. He looks quite really calm as well on the
Mm.
ball at the back, which I kind of do like as a goalkeeper because he kind of settles everyone else
I think
down.
they
But
only had one chance. Am I right in saying that,
yeah,
Jam? I think it was
yeah,
Ramsey that hit it, was it? And then good
yeah.
save, like, to be fair. It was
Was it
actually a good
Ramsey
save.
or I think Ramsey or Murphy, wasn't it? It was one of
Well,
them.
or
But
maybe it was Murphy, actually. I think it was Murphy.
yeah,
Mm.
but still,
Yeah,
to
it was a good save.
yeah, to the point, I just think I think he's going to grow in. I was just a bit more impressed, like, because I think we actually helped him. The tactics actually helped him out. I noticed we
Yeah.
didn't really play it as much around the back tonight, did we? I think that was one thing that I will give
Mm.
Farker credit for is we seem to be going more direct, which is great because I mean, it's exactly what we needed really, and I think that's what we're going to need now moving forward. But what's the chat saying, Dill? Is there anyone in the chat
We'll jump into a few here now,
showing
yeah.
a
I thought
few
you were.
comments?
Yeah. So we have, just going back to actually Good Munson. Obviously, he went off injury towards the end there. Obviously, we've seen the debut from Justin James coming on.
Yeah,
No update anyway as of yet here. He was kind of hobbling off it. It doesn't look great now, if I'm being completely honest with you.
no,
Um,
it didn't look promising at the time. But then I was kind of like, I think I was a bit encouraged because he sort of, when they get up and walk on themselves, you kind of do get a bit encouraged by it, don't you? Um, But he is hoping that. But again, I thought, again, it was only a sort of short sample size, but
You can definitely cover
yeah,
100%, and it's great. Me and Darren are saying, and you've been on with yourself, considering how you can do both sides, right or left. Because I think it wouldn't be like it's not fair on Sam Byram to be covering all that all the time, and obviously
no,
now if Cope Munson does carry a knock, obviously we have the international break now, so he's time to rest and regenerate and knock it off, whatever it is. But I think Darren was saying it going back a few weeks ago about the attacking position or the striker position, and people were saying, "No, get a striker, get a striker."
yeah,
Darren was banging the drum about the fullbacks now. I think we need cover at the fullbacks. And he obviously came in, and I think he done all right. To be fair, he gets it now. Debut at front of Ellen Road fans. It's a stepping stone for him. Another player, obviously, we'll get into as well. Dominic Calvert-Lewin coming on. I think there was definitely injected something into the game straight away from a corner. He really got his head onto the ball
I agree
from the first corner when it came out. His runs, him and Harrison seemed to have a nice partnership. Obviously,
yeah.
His touch got him away, but then he was unlucky with the low driven shot at Pope, kind of straight down the throat. It took a little bit of a deflection, but I think we were unlucky. What do you think of?
Yeah, I was impressed with him because he made a nice little. I think there was that one chance that he had as well, wasn't it? That I think he slipped in, and don't get me wrong, he was hit at Pope, and he was quite a fairly comfortable save. But this is the thing that you'll get with Calvert-Lewin. He'll make these little intelligent runs, and he'll drag defenders out of positions, and that's exactly what we sort of need. But yeah, I thought he was a bit of a level above, to be honest. Calvert-Lewin, when he came on, you could just see he had a little bit of quality, and there was a few touches that didn't quite come off. But yeah, like going back to what Michael said, Metcha, I think that's what Calvert-Lewin sort of brought was actually occupying their centre backs more than
he was trying to get in behind every single time, and you know what, Jam, I noticed as well. I didn't think he'd be as quick as what he is. He's actually very quick. He's lightning pace on him, and
he's very good. He's very good in the air as well, because I've noticed one or two of the goal kicks went out to him, and he was getting up that spring on him. He was getting up really high, and that's exactly what you want as a striker. If we're going to play this way, if we're going to go more direct, then that's what we need. I am going to turn my light on a minute, Dill, because it's quite.
That's no bother at all. Danny Talksley, sorry, Grew Evan Longstaff. We're on it today, yeah, 100%, Danny. I think me and Jam just going back. Longstaff for me was definitely man of the match, and I grew up. It's really harsh when I say it like this, but I think Gruev just done his job today.
Yeah,
he's done his job very well.
I think that's what he needed to do really as well, wasn't it? Again, to be honest, he actually impressed. He was better than I thought he was going to be, Gruev. If I'm being completely honest, I thought he did what he needed to do, and he did. Again, there were a few times where he did look really sluggish and he looked quite slow against like Bruno and Tonali. But listen, we could have. Like David Oliver says, yeah, we could have won it. But I think there was a bit of a fear. I think it's probably maybe an instruction, thinking, right, hang on a minute now. If we push on and get caught, then we lose 1-0. And I think, like Farker alluded to in his press conference before the game, a point a game probably sees you stay in the division. So if you're looking at it like that now, we're 1 point better off. 4 points over 3 games. So listen, it's Goodmanson. Yeah, well, again.
Hopefully not an MCL, yeah. Don't be putting the shivers down the spines, considering Tanaka and Ampadu are out with an MCL. But I have a good comment here from RP Astrology. 4 points, 2 clean sheets, even with our shortcomings, an encouraging start.
That's exactly where I am. That's exactly where I am with it, Dillo. To be honest, isn't it? It is an encouraging start. We know where we're lacking in the team. But again, we've still got 4 points, and that's vital for me at this stage. You've really got to start the league off well. Otherwise, if you're looking at after the 3 games and you've got 0 points, you're looking at it then and thinking, oh, this is going to be a long old slog. But I've touched on, again, it's just the effort and desire, mate, and that's all I want to see. At the end of the day, they've put it body on the line. You've seen teams before that. They start playing for the manager, or they've down tools, but you can't say that with this team. In all fairness, they've really dug in. Okay, the last 2 games were the exception, but they've really dug in now. And yeah, I'm really pleased with the start overall. I said last week with you and Daz, I said, if if you offered me a point in Newcastle now, I'd snap your hand off, and that's exactly what we got. So another clean sheet as well. So it's two clean sheets.
Two clean sheets.
Yeah.
Look, I think it speaks for itself when you look at the table and the consideration of the goal difference, etc. You know, we've scored against Everton, 1 goal. That's really it. And as Callum did say there in the comments there, it's a message to the board to go get Hamer.
Yeah, 100%.
Look, it's obvious that it's the goals that we need to get in, but I feel like with the midfield and the defence doing as well as they done, Rodon and Stroke, it's just a pure another brick wall. They play well so with each other, they cover each other so well, and then obviously I think we need to speak about them as well.
Brilliant. I thought they were brilliant tonight, Dill. Rodon and Stroke. I thought both of them were, and 100%. I agree with you. I think you said like sort of last week. About Strouk and how you can't take him out, and there's obviously that question mark with him or Beale starting. And after that performance tonight, I think Strouk's really sort of played himself. He's made that position.
He's made it his mark for the team to start. 100%.
That's it.
Look, we'll move across obviously to Jayden Bogle.
Yeah.
Thoughts on him? And then I'll give my thoughts.
Really impressed. Do you know what Bogle, right? I think he frustrated me a couple of times tonight. He was really good, I thought, personally. But he kind of he carried the ball a bit too much, and then you kind of think, right, now pass it.
Should have released it. Yeah, I agree.
Release it a little bit earlier, because that's the thing with Bogle. He doesn't mind taking that ball on and carrying up the pitch. And I think maybe again he could have. There was that one in the first half. I don't know. He give it to Metcher, or he could have maybe given out to. Or he might have lost the ball actually.
Yeah, no, he did. I know. We were talking about we were shooting towards the south stand, and he was actually doing a lovely run. Went around 3 or 4 players, and I seen it as well. I was calling it as well. Ron shouting like a madman in front of the telly. They released the ball, and he didn't. I think it was Metcher that was standing in front of him, and I'm not mistaken. I think it was Goodmunson looking for the overlap.
Yeah, that's right.
If I'm not mistaken,
and
he could have released, and he didn't. And there was another one in the first half as well. I think the ball went out of play and the camera went to Fark, and he was screaming the head on. He was red to the gills, and I knew straight away that was kind of the kick that he needed. And from then on, I think he kind of played more into the game, got a bit more involved. He was looking for the overlap runs as opposed to cutting in. And then he was very unlucky there towards the end with him and Aronson. The little chip, obviously, it ended up in Pope's hands. But look, I think that's the kind of structure you're going to get from Bogle. He's going to make mistakes. We've seen it with fullbacks with Firpo before. We can see it now with Goodmunson. Great sometimes going forward, not great in the back, but then sometimes great in the back, but not great at going forward. And I think it's just probably a motivation thing. It could be down to fitness.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't know. But Bogle, for me, same thing, kind of steady. Grew into the game an awful lot. And we were just completely unlucky as well.
I think I was impressed with his defensive work as well tonight, Dill. He had quite a bit of a tough task with that Livramento on the left. What's Danny saying there?
He's saying, Dillo, I think Piero is now third choice. Maybe time to rip the poster off the wall.
I don't think that'll be happening anytime soon.
No, look, I genuinely think Piero. I had a feeling he wasn't going to start today. I think Metcher was kind of given a bit more of a.
Yeah, and again, obviously looking at it now, you probably could see. It's obviously the right decision, not for him not to start in this type of game specifically, because against big, strong centre backs in this league, you do need a bit more physical presence. But I think, to be honest, by the looks of it, Dale, I think Calvert-Lewin looks like he's going to be our main man this season at the moment. But what's the comment saying? Definitely improvement.
Definite improvement possible with the 2-week break, because it's been the face from off not much time reflecting on the game we had, because they come so fast with the break and we give us time to reflect. So I think that's fair enough. And look, with the window closing as well, hopefully we can get 1 or 2 players in the door. You know yourself, but only time will tell. BMG is in the building. How full is your glass after that De La Sola performance, which was needed? Gruev gets no praise, but I thought he played very well for most part. Yeah, fair enough. If that's the only kind of... I won't say negative, because I know you don't like that word, BMG, but if that's the kind of downside of the game, we'll take it. I think the point was well and truly deserved. I think either team was, they didn't really create any chances. It wasn't an overall great game. I think it was anyone's game if they had grabbed it. as I said, we were unlucky with the chance with Calvert-Lewin. But then at the same time, we didn't really offer. But look, we can see definitely there's room for improvement.
100%. Yeah, we're not a finished article yet, are we? So we're far from it. So hopefully, in this window now we can see one or two, because I think we do need. I'd probably say push two. I think we need two in the attacking positions. But that's my personal take on it. Whether we get two or whether we even get one is another thing. But I'm confident we'll get some sort of business done.
I think you will, Jam. Look,
yeah.
I think if the board had any sense right now, looking at that today, and as I said, I'm not shining away one bit. I thought we played well. I thought it was a fair game, and we deserved the point. It was an overall great performance, but it was, look, we deserved what we got. And same in Newcastle. I didn't think they really offered anything. Did one shot, as you said, Murphy. It was a great save from Perry, but they need to be looking at that now, going right. Probably another winger, possibly another striker. What are you thinking?
Well, that's the thing, though. I think a few comments say is obviously an encouraging start. That I'd rather it happen now than when we're a few months in the season where the transfer market isn't open and there's nothing we can really do about it. But if you're going to look at your team and see what positions that you need in, I think obviously you looked at the first 3 games and think, right, there's obvious where we need reinforcements or a bit more quality. So yeah, rather it happen now. I think this is a kind of a bit of a trial period now where they've looked at the squad and think, right, where do we actually need positions? And I think if you're looking at that as a 49ers now and you're watching in the stands, you've really got to look at that now. And I don't know what else needs to be done for them to get attacking positions in, because it's clearly quite evident that if you bring in that little bit of stardust, I think we can start opening teams up and start scoring goals. So I think, did we have the chat may be able to help with this, but did we have I think we had a shot in the end, sorry, didn't we, on target from Calvert-Lewin? But I think before that, I think it was showing us 0 shots on target or something. There was a stat during the game that we didn't have a shot on target or something. I can't remember where it was, but
I think Calvert-Lewin was actually very unlucky with that. It was a slight deflection, and it kind of just rolled Pope. But if that had been put in the corner, I don't care what anyone said, that was going in. Pope's a big lad, and it would have taken him a while to get down for that with his type of pace and the shot behind it. Look, his goal is coming 110%. I think just one or two little things that we need to work on. Obviously, I think if Okafor comes back into the team when he's firing, fit and ready, it's competition, isn't it? Let's be honest. I keep banging the drum. I know people are probably sick and tired of me saying it, but competition is key for me. Considering even when Calvert-Lewin did come on for a match, you could see there was this kind of injection into the game. I'm not saying he was the standout performer. I think Longstaff was for me, but he just kind of created a bit more runs in behind. Harrison knew where he was going every single time. He was looking for the ball, and then, as I said to you there a few minutes ago, the pace of him I thought was.
Yeah, he is.
I didn't think he was quick as what he is, lads.
No, he's no slug there though. He's he can move, and there's a reason why he was why he was selected for England and in his squad and played 11 games from. You're just kind of hoping that we can keep him injury free, and you can see the quality he brings. I'm really confident that he'll come good and, like you said, score his first goal soon. To be honest, I think that's I'm with you 100% on that.
He's just always like. I feel a bit sorry on him, and I know it's only his second game in the league, but the chance that he had obviously against Sheffield Wednesday and obviously whatever forget the panel, but then tonight as well, like he actually is just genuinely very unlucky, and I think that hopefully that'll just keep him kind of motivated, and the goal will come. But going back to the wingers situation, with Okafor coming in, it might shape things around a little bit, and then even with Pirro, I know Danny was saying there about Pirro. It's going to be different horses for different courses, isn't it? When it comes to Pirro, because even with Mecha, I know he didn't offer a whole lot today, but you could see he was trying. I just feel like he was getting dominated, and if it was Pirro up there, he probably wouldn't have got half of the chances of what Mecha got.
The thing is, I think with Pirro as well, Dill, you've got to look at is I think there's a place for everybody in the squad. I mean, goal scoring wise, if you want a chance to fall to anybody, it is him. In and around the box, which I think, there is a bit of a weapon that we can sort of, so like VMG's changes his mind. I think you'll get snuffed out way too often if we can sell him. And I do kind of get, I get both sides of it, to be honest. BMG.
I don't know if you're saying that just to wind me up, John. I'm only messing. I'm only messing.
The only, I think, if we'd have done, we should have done it earlier in the window. If that was something that we was going to look at doing and then bringing in a replacement, I just don't think that'll probably happen now unless they really sort of get their skates on. But I can't see that happening. But I get where you're coming from, BMG, completely. That there is maybe an option, but I just can't see it happening.
He's not going back to Swansea
yet. We're actually seeing improvement at the team. Yeah, that's
100%.
Yeah,
it's definitely improvement. There's no doubt about it. I think we put an okay performance into that. I wouldn't say it was outstanding, but there was a glimpse of just this is different. Maybe it was the formation, maybe it was the tactical reason for even the substitutions. Look, we'll bring it back a little bit, Jam, obviously, to talk about the subs. Yeah. What I never actually asked you, what was your thoughts on the subs? Were they the right ones made?
Probably at the time, I think we actually mentioned this in the first week against Everton because he took Nonto off, didn't he? But he took Nonto off again today. Sub-wise, to be honest, I don't think what I actually was. This is going to blow everyone's mind. What I was impressed with, I think Farker actually brought a sub on in the 60th minute. I think he actually brought someone on. So I thought he was a bit more thing with the subs again. I thought he was sort of a bit more practical, where he thought, right, we need a bit of injection because he brought on Harrison and Aronson, didn't he, for both for Dan James and can't get think of the Nonto. Yeah, Dan James and Nonto.
Nonto, yeah.
So I think he realised that we needed a bit more energy on the wings because we didn't really. I think they were leggy a little bit, and you can't blame them. They really did put a shift in. So I think subs-wise, Dill, to be honest, mate, I haven't really got many complaints tonight. I don't think.
Why do I take it all positives, John?
Yeah, there's nothing really. I don't think you could have changed, to be honest. I think looking at it. Obviously, Okafor isn't fully fit. Maybe would have been nice to see him, but I don't think we're going to risk him. So, yeah, for me, mate, I thought he got him bang on.
Well, look, I'll put a spin on this, and I know I'm only singling out the midfield here, but considering we all know what Tanaka's like, we all love him, we all highly rate him. Yeah. Obviously, with an MCL injury, our captain Ethan Ampadu, phenomenal. Himself loves a challenge and really controls the game to his own. He's out with an MCL injury. So considering with Gruev, Stack and Longstaff coming in there, especially that midfield, I'm very happy and pleased with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. And to be fair,
but that Stack actually went missing at times, to be fair.
Yeah, he did. But again, I think to give him sort of a bit of slack and to give the other midfielders slack, to be honest, with Gruev and Longstaff, all of them, because obviously they've all literally that first half, I think the running stats, I'd be interested to know what the running stats were for those three in midfield because they really did put in a shift tonight. They literally, I think Longstaff, they flashed up on Sky Sports. I think it was like 9 kilometres.
Yeah, 9.9 kilometres actually. Yeah, I've seen.
And I'll be honest, I don't think Gruev and Stack would have been far off that because that's exactly what you need, mate, to stay in this league. You can have all the talent in the world, can't you? But you need to really have the energy in midfield as well for that to happen because you can easily get overrun in the midfield in the Premier League. So
I just think you have to give him 10 out of 10. Consider that wasn't easy. As I've said it, I know there's new people coming in there. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well, guys. Please, are really really helping us out. But going back to Longstaff, 18 years following a boyhood club, and then obviously playing with them to put on a different jersey and come out and play the way that he played.
Yeah,
look, as I said, it wasn't an outstanding performance from every individual. It wasn't a great game overall. But that sort of pressure to come on and do what he done, he was going into every tackle. He wasn't wussing out of anything. He controlled the ball really well. He was moving it very well. And at times, anytime, you could see definitely there was glimpses. I thought at one stage, I think it was in the first half, he lost the ball, then won it back, got up the pitch, and he was just about to release the pass. I think it was sent Nonto through out wide, and it was taken on him, and he was going back up the other way. So little things like that, obviously, he needs to work on. But I think that's the speed of the game as well. I think Leeds at times they slow down a bit too much.
I think he's a match sharpness still, like you were just going to say there, isn't it? Like just
match
get him up to speed with the game, and I think he obviously had a point to prove tonight, didn't he? To come out and against his old club and think, right, hang on a minute, you sold me, so I want to prove a point to you that I'm actually, I'm a worthy player. But if he can bring that sort of intensity to the other games moving forward, then yeah, I'm really happy with Longstaff as a squad player there. But let's look what we got.
We get in here, BMG. We need someone creative, either someone like Boaka or a 10, even Hamer, or someone like Guimaraes, who can control a game. Obviously, not at the price. At his price. Yeah,
Yeah,
like, we've said obviously in the last stream. We've obviously said it in this one as well. It's definitely the offense side that, in fact, said it in his press conference as well. It's definitely positions we need going up there. Just it's you need that kind of Stardust quality, isn't it?
you do, mate. Yeah, you do. And again, I'll go back to what you said earlier, Dilla. I think if you're at the 49ers looking at that game now, and it's obviously staring you right in the face. What we need, we need real difference makers, and I'm happy with the defensive side of things. Like the defense and the midfield, we look really solid as a setup, but you just need that little bit of, I said last week, a Pablo Hernandez type of player that can really just pick that ball up and just scare defenders really, or scare defensive midfielders when they get the ball. They know that something's gonna happen. They have to be switched on, which is what we were tonight with Bruno Guimaraes. We know he can turn a game on his head. But yeah, we need quality now, and something that we desperately need, to be honest.
It's
But
100%. I agree with you.
yeah,
I just have another comment here from BMG. It's a good point as well. Lack of firepower you might say didn't really matter in this game because his draw was okay. But there will be games where we will need more attacking threat.
yeah,
Kind of speaks for itself. I have to agree with him, to be fair.
100%. We've got Fulham and Wolves now. The next after the international break, so that's those are the two games really, and we've got Bournemouth as well. I think at home, but Bournemouth are no mugs because they beat Tottenham today. So yeah, no, I agree. You more attacking power we need for those two, because I think those two games now, next two games are quite big in regards to like points return, and because they're the type of games still that we need to really sort of look at, and for at least a win in one of those two games, I think, to sort of keep the points tally ticking.
It's taking over, yeah. 100%.
Taking over, yeah.
David Oliver's in there. Hey guys, who do you think, Strike or BL? I'm going to say Stroke, lads.
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you. Look, I think BL hasn't got the chance. Obviously, with Wednesday, it was a very frustrating game for all of us to watch. At times he was good, at times he was all right. But I think Stroke's kind of nailed that position down now for now. Anyway, John, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Dill. But what I will say is to David's question is, I think we haven't really seen much of BL yet to sort of. Again, it's probably you've just got one game to go off against Sheffield Wednesday, and in all fairness, I don't think he did that bad against Sheffield Wednesday. I think he was probably maybe one or two that stood out really in a really really drab game. But at the moment, Pask takes the shirt for me. But I think BL is going to play a big part in obviously this season. I just don't think he's had the opportunity yet to sort of grab the shirt, which he will. There's no doubt about it. I think. Again, that one game we can't really just go off and see what he's all about there. He's international footballer at the end of the day, so he can't be that bad. And again, I think he's another option on the set piece. I know Pasca's good on the corners, but he's another option then that we can, bring on maybe I don't know. Yeah, maybe if we're chasing a game and we've got the corners, Beal could be an option. That you put that ball in the box and you can really attack them, because that is something that they can bring to the side. But in a long-winded answer there, yeah, Pask. I keep asking the shirt just at the moment, but yeah, it's a good question, really.
I think we've said it before. You go back to the Schmidt situation. Even Ramazani. There was obviously other players. I just can't think off the top of my head. Why aren't they starting, or why even coming on for little cameos here or there? And I think it's genuinely down to what Fark sees in training, because I've said it before, and Darren has said it as well. We want these players to come on, but they're clearly not doing it in training to come on, if that makes sense. Look, I'm not saying Bial hasn't been doing it. What I am saying is it could be just simply down to Strokes just giving that little bit more. Plus, signing a different culture, different league. It could simply come down to that.
He's a good player as well, Dill, with the ball at his feet, isn't he, Pask? Like he's probably like I love Rodon. Obviously, there's probably a bit of bias there, but
nice quality.
Yeah,
I agree with his quality.
Yeah, he's very good with it. He's when I actually agree with you when you said last week. I think when the team is playing well, when Pasca's got the ball, he's very good with his feet. He's a very good player with that left foot. He's very sort of dominant and can sort of impact the game. But
when there's pressure on, he kind of seems to.
yeah, and I think the thing is, I think again, it's probably that goes to the whole team last week against Arsenal. But anyway, that's in the past now. We move on from that.
Leave it there.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Exactly. But is there any more comments still before we sort of? I think
Skip. I was expecting a 3-1 loss, but much better gritty performance. Our final ball was poor, but overall, a huge point against a quality side. I think that sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, nail on the head, really.
But,
yeah.
10 out of 10 Skip for that one. We'll get into a few more here. West Yorkshire Retro Gamer. Newcastle are a top 5 or 6 side, and we kept them quiet today. Really is very good from the lads today. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. That's it. You've got perspective on it. They are going to be at that top around there, and they're going to be looking to push for Champions League qualification. That's their ambitions this season. So yeah, 100%.
BMG. I don't get the criticism of Grueff. He's not flashy, but he's done his job, and he did it very well today. In particular, Longstaff and Stack were also decent. Did their job. Brings us back to the midfield as well, Jam. I think.
Yeah.
Considering with the 2 boys out, I think I have to be honest with you. I think the boys in the midfield have really stepped it up.
Yeah.
They've really stepped it up to the mark.
Yeah, I think they needed. Well, they obviously needed to tonight, didn't they? After the midweek game as well. So yeah, 100%. No, I do. Don't get it. The thing is, I think. Yeah, I completely get it. Perhaps maybe I probably worded it a little bit wrong earlier in the stream about Gruev. He did look a bit slow, but again, you can't. Yeah, credit to him because they probably have put a distance in this game, and that's exactly what he needed. He stepped up, and look, he's done a good job against the Newcastle midfield. That we hear about it in the commentary that this midfield's one of the best in Europe. So, listen, I know they had Joe Linton out, but he still had Tonali and Bruno in there. So, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I just didn't think they really kind of got going. They tried to slow the game down at times. I thought the ref gave away silly fouls, but same for them and same for us. It was kind of 50-50. I seen was it Stack? I think it was Stack. He was very frustrated in the first half. He was just...
Yeah.
Anyway, Michael says, can't blame Fark for the lack of quality in the attack. It's over to Underwood and the 49ers. Yeah.
Nail on the head again. Another good comment, yeah.
100%.
Another good comment.
David Oliver, international break now, and the chance for the players to heal up. Abadou, Tanaka, and hopefully get signings in before the transfer window closes.
Yeah, I think that's big for me as well, Dill, is to make sure that obviously the players are all healed up and rested, and Abadou and Tanaka. Hopefully, the quicker we can get them back, the better, because they are quality players in there, and I just think again, without not taking anything away from the boys tonight, but I think with them 2 in the midfield, it just looks even better for me there. But Longstaff, that's my brother. He's in the house.
Your brother in the building. To let us know that Longstaff is obviously seeing the same way. We'll move on to Pierre. Sorry. One positive: our play and position in this league will help get possible signings over the line.
Yeah, what do you think on that? What do you think on that, Dill? Because that's a good comment. I think there is a lot.
It's a very good comment.
Yeah,
I think. It's simply down to obviously when a player does approach us or we approach a player trying to sell the narrative to Leeds, with the stadium development, trying to become an established Premier League team. In certain ways, I can't see why you wouldn't come to Leeds, but then at the same time, in the back of the head, relegation battle, it's kind of hard not to. But it's a difficult one. That is a difficult question.
It is, yeah. Sorry to just cut in here, Dill. I think if you look at it as a player, you're looking to sign for a club in the Premier League, and if you look at it, and if you look at Leeds and they lose their first 3 games, you're not going to want to go to a team that's just come up from the Championship to the Premier League and then Leeds at rock bottom of the table. I just don't think. We can all say that. Listen, we're a huge club, but if those 3 games turn out differently, which they haven't, obviously, I think you'd be looking at it and questioning. Do I really need this in my career? So it's a really good comment, because I do believe that holds a lot of bearing to whether players want to come or not, most definitely. But
100%. Yeah. Well, look, I genuinely, we're kind of late to wrap it up here now and leave it at that. But I think, if I'm being honest with you, I'm happy with the point. I did say a draw. Obviously, I thought there was going to be goals. I said 2-2. I think Darren said 3-1. I think a draw is great. I think a point on the board. Currently sitting 10th. Going into this international break now, rest up and, as we all said, get a few signings in the door. They kind of just that motivation and get that kind of, the likes of Arsenal and Sheffield Wednesday, leave them behind, they're gone, they're in the past.
Yeah, they're
We
in the
move
past.
on
Yeah.
and we forgive and forget. And then like that as well, it gives us that glimmer of hope for the likes of Aberdeen tonight get to come back into the team.
Yeah.
Obviously, Fargal said Aberdeen will be after the international break. Tonight get more likely the same, just a little bit towards the end. But we'll just get into a few more comments.
Yep.
BMG, Pierre, good point. A poor performance and defeat. Oh, he's talking about Hamer there. Sorry.
That's right. Yeah.
Mark says, yeah, but the Blades are crap. Lost all like Hamer has to carry them. Prob looking elsewhere. Yeah, 100%
Yeah.
it could be. Chris Thompson, hey up lads. I'm really happy with the point considering the stats. Once again, Stack was phenomenal. Is that the word? Longstaff was solid. Harrison did a good job. We really missed Tanaka and Amps. James off it today. All Leeds, aren't we? What do you think of that one?
I think, yeah.
Do you agree with the James one?
I think there's better to come from him.
Yeah, when he was anyway. I was
Yeah,
reeling in it.
You nearly had me then. Literally, I think there's more to come from him. I thought he was better tonight than he has been, but he'll come good. And I think there's sort of to summarize from me. Oh, there he is.
Here's Daz. He's in the building. Hold on now, and I'm getting the old scoop. Hold on now. There he is.
There he
That's
is.
the wrong one.
You good?
Good evening, lads.
How's it going? You alright?
How we keeping? All good, yeah.
We were just about to end it, but I said, well, hang on to see if you come in and let you have your
I was
say.
literally flying back to the hotel. I tried to connect and the phone went dead because obviously it was recorded the whole day, recorded the whole vlog. But yeah, good day, lads. I obviously haven't heard some of Amy's obviously here with us. We're literally just back to the hotel. Phone is charged. But yeah, obviously I don't know what you've been saying, lads. But yeah, my quick little summary, lads. I think it's a decent point. I think if you had said at the start of the season 4 points from 9, I think you would have snapped their hands off, could have won the game. But decent point. The atmosphere in Ellen Road was absolutely electric today. What way did you say?
We just said the complete opposite as we thought it was terrible. I'm joking.
No, I have to say it was good, really good day, really good atmosphere. And I have to say, really good camaraderie with the Newcastle fans as well. Couple of chants about Gary Speed, which was obviously great to see. And the highlight of the day was they were singing Isaac is a CUNT, and the Leeds fans kind of joined in, and the whole of Ellen Road got involved as well, to obviously against football, against player power and stuff like that. So yeah, really good day, really decent point, lads, I have to say. And look, to be honest, against a team that's in Champions League side, but unlucky enough to win it. But yeah, happy with the point, I have to say.
Darren, I'm going to ask you, just who do you think was your standout player?
Bogle. Jayden Bogle.
All right, fair enough. Me personally, I thought Sean Longstaff was unbelievable.
Longstaff had a good game, lads. It's different, lads. When you're watching at home on TV, and watching the game in the ground, you see different things. We were in the cheese wedge, and everyone around us was saying Jayden Bogle was absolutely sensational, lads. His man marking, his recovery runs, his getting forward, his just as his knowledge of sensing out danger. He knew when Newcastle were playing the switch, just to be in the right position. I thought he was brilliant, lads. I genuinely thought he was a standout performer today for Leeds. Gruev had a really good game. Longstaff had a really good game against his side. There was one time in the second half where could have moved the ball a little bit quicker down the line. I'm not too sure if people kind of picked it up on TV, but Calvert-Lewin made a run, pointed, wanted it there, and Longstaff decided to kind of check in. There was a chance for Leeds to kind of get in behind there. But I thought we were really good. Perry at times, he made a decent save. Times his kicking wasn't.
It's only save that he had to make, though, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, it was. There was times his kicking wasn't really good, kicking it out, playing stuff like that. But other than that, I thought the defence was really good. I don't know if you guys heard, and obviously it's hard to kind of tell on the ground, but obviously good Munson went off. Looks like he was hobbling off. James Justin came on. I'm not too sure whether it's an injury or fatigue, but I thought it was a really good performance. Ellen Road was really behind the lads tonight, and that's what we need. Them home games like that, obviously back-to-back away fixtures now against Fulham and Wolves is going to be tough. But yeah, as I said, lads, kind of take the Arsenal and the Sheffield Wednesday game out of it. he kind of offered Leeds, 4 points from the first 3 games, we would have snapped your hand off. So it's a really good start to the season, I do have to say.
That's exactly sort of what we said, Dillo, wasn't it? Like, if you're looking at the 3 games before the season, you're thinking, right, yeah, four points from those 3. That's big. That's a tough start, because Everton have got 6 points on the board now after losing to us. Arsenal. You're not going to go. Not many teams are going to go there and pick points up. And Newcastle are certainly no mugs, and they'll be competing. So, encouraging signs, because at the end of the day, we're not a finished article. We know what we need in the market now. We need that little bit of stardust, a little bit of quality in the final third. And just the last thing from me as well is, I think we really needed that performance tonight, lads, didn't we, after the last 2 results? I think it was nice for me to see Daz, watching on the telly, the atmosphere seemed pretty good tonight watching it. And it was
really, really good, lads. I do have to say, Ellen Road was rocking from... Basically, you'll see on the match day blog that I put together. I try to not talk too much, because the match day blogs that I personally like is more so, kind of the run another day and, kind of the build up to the match. I try to not talk too much, but the atmosphere, even around the city centre, I think just Leeds being back in the Premier League. Yeah, there was a couple of nervousness. We were in the Peacock talking to, a couple of people, and they were obviously kind of saying, kind of what's going on at the club at the minute, the transfer window and stuff like that. But the overriding feeling around Leeds is that, everyone was behind the club. Great atmosphere in the Peacock before the game. And then walking down to Ellen Road as well, everyone was behind the team. And you could feel it, you could sense it as soon as you walk into Ellen Road. We were behind the lads 110%. And I think, lads, that's when Leeds United are at their best, is when, it's backs against the wall, it's us against the world. And you could feel that in Ellen Road today, is that, there was times where you kind of felt Newcastle might have nicked one, especially when Alanga came on. You might have, you seen the players that they brought on, compared to the players that, we brought on. And yeah, it just felt like us against the world today. But great atmosphere, I do have to say. And really, really good performance from the lads. That's a good point that can't be underestimated.
I have a question here for you from Pierre. Yeah. Darren, can I ask you a question? There's a lot of negativity about Dan James. Did you see that on the pitch?
Yeah. I
Careful, Daz. Careful. Yeah.
It's tough, lads, and look, anyone kind of followed Leeds Bros over the last while will know myself, Dylan, and Jam do these match reactions, and we're very well kind of balancing things. And we're a big supporter of Dan James, but you could feel kind of the moans and groans. I don't know what it is, lads. I don't feel like Dan James has his full confidence like what he had last season. I think we kind of need to get the Dan James back that, fully flying and kind of instinctive. I think he's missing that kind of instinctiveness to his game, where he was doing things without even thinking about it. Now it feels like he's second guessing every pass, every run. There was times where he could have took his man on. There's times where he could have made a run, and he was kind of overthinking it a little bit. But yeah, look, I don't want to get bogged down too much on kind of negativity. Look at the only kind of downside, it was mound the ground. You're taking off players like the likes of Willie Nanto and Dan James. You're bringing on Jack Harrison and Brendan Aronson. Look, it done good today, but is it enough, for Premier League and Premier League quality? Look, I'm not too sure. And obviously, over the course of the season, is going to tell that. But yeah, overall, lads, look, just to sum up, I think it's a decent point. We could have got the win, maybe should have got the win, but it's a good point against the Champions League side.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to ask you more or less one last question, Darren. I did ask Jam as well. That the subs that he made taking off Nanto, to bring Aronson on, obviously, and then bringing Harrison as well. Do you think it was the right decision?
I would have liked to see Nanto on a little bit longer, personally. I would have liked to see Nanto a little bit longer. Maybe DJ, because I don't think he was at it today. Maybe to bring Harrison on there. We obviously know, the crosses he can put in the box from his set pieces. But I would have liked to see Nanto a little bit more, because I think the overriding feeling in the ground, I don't know what way, again, what it was looking like on telly, but in the ground, Willie Nanto looked like the one that could kind of create a little bit. So, yeah, it was kind of disappointed to kind of see him taken off. I thought Metju was decent enough. I thought there was times he was kind of pulled down, but he really hassled and harried and put himself about. And then Calvert-Lewin coming on again, you could see the step up in quality, lads, when Calvert-Lewin came on. His run off the ball when the camera's not on him, it was kind of just sounding in on Calvert-Lewin a little bit more, just to kind of see what type of player he was. And he was making runs, really pulling the Newcastle defence around. And I really felt Leeds kind of stepped up a gear when Calvert-Lewin came on, because he really put them kind of on the back foot.
And as I said, we would have went on to win the
That's
game.
what we discussed with me and Dillo. Said like for me, I agree with you, Daz. It felt like the level just went up when Calvert-Lewin come on. It felt like if we were gonna, we had more of a chance of scoring because he just makes those little intelligent runs, and he's got pace on him as well. By the way, because Dillo touched on it.
He can move like
very fast.
Slug.
Decent leap as well. There was one chance the ball was put up to him, and we were kind of used to the ball kind of bouncing off the match, and he was kind of one of them where he wasn't really getting full contacts on the ball through the day, but he was kind of just doing enough to kind of flick it on and, trying to put the ball in behind. But Calvert-Lewin, there was one leap down towards the Don Revie, and the ball was put up towards him, and the whole Ellen Road just went, because he just jumped and he was able to leap above everyone else and, win the ball and flick it on. And I do genuinely think, lads, if we can kind of get him fit, get him firing, he's going to be a real asset to this Leeds team. And I suppose it probably tells, because if you're starting the likes in the Meche and Calvert-Lewin's coming on ahead of Joe Pirro, where does he kind of stand in this Leeds team, especially at home today? But look, I think there was a lot more positives today. I think we all kind of went into the game a little bit kind of anxious that, if it went wrong and Leeds, got a defeat today, didn't come out and turn in the best performance, things could have turned really sour. But I think it's a really, really, really positive performance by Leeds United and a really decent result. I think above everything else, even apart from the result, is that we needed to show a little bit of fight in this team today, and we really did. We dug in against a very good Newcastle side. As I said, Champions League football, decent manager in Eddie Howe, and as I said, we were very unlucky not to win, in my opinion, in the end.
Yeah.
All right, last one from Pierre. Darren, would you have left Nanto on with a yellow card hanging over him? 2 would be a red card and a ban.
Yeah, I think so. I think Nanto isn't that type of player. Like, if it's a midfield player, like the likes of your Longstaff, Gruev, and Stack in there, maybe you're looking at possibly changing. But I don't think Gruev or Nanto's that type of player where, he has a bit of nastiness about him or a bit of foolishness about him, where you might have the feeling where he might get taken off. I thought Nanto might have been left on for a little bit longer today, but, at the end of the day, it's a decent result. But I do have to have a little bit of shout out, and again, probably someone that went under the radar today that, the people at home and you guys didn't see. Joe Rodon, lads. Joe Rodon for me today was sensational. Absolutely sensational. He covered strike really, really well. We were obviously sitting in the very front of the cheese wedge, like literally could basically touch the corner flag. And I could hear Joe Rodon the whole match, shouting, instructing, really kind of took on the captain role without really being the captain. He had a very, very good performance today, I do have to say. So, plaudits to Joe Rodon as well today for me.
That's like music to my ears, Dad. That's just like. But I thought Pask was good as well to Daz tonight.
Yeah.
He looked like him and Rodon. I think again, me and Dill touched on it a little bit earlier. They seem to have a really good relationship, don't they? Those two together, it's very solid, and it's sort of hard to see, because I know there's a lot of talk of BL coming in, but I don't get how you can really close drop. Sorry,
I don't think so. I don't think so at the minute, Jam. I think obviously like was today that strike could possibly get dropped for BL, but I think maybe if the same kind of happened at Arsenal, or if we conceded a couple today, then you might look at changing it. But again, we look defensively solid, lads. We didn't give Newcastle a sniff. For me, there was one very good save that Perry made that he parried away. Other than that, lads, Newcastle didn't really trouble us. There was a couple of long balls in behind that ran out of play for Alanga. When Harvey Barnes came on, I think we all know as Leeds fans, I looked around us, there was about 10 Leeds fans around me with head and hands, thinking, here's Harvey Barnes, come on, kind of ruin our day. And we kept him quiet when he came on as well. So it's a good performance, lads. For me, I take a lot of positives out of it, and more so is that the fight back that we have after 2 very, very bad results at Arsenal and Sheffield Wednesday. For me, the most important thing for the lads today was to show a little bit of fight, and we showed that in abundance today. So it was good, really, really good.
Yeah, definitely nail on the head.
Right, lads, we've been going for an hour.
Mention what BMG said as well. I thought Gruev had a good performance today. I wouldn't be Gruev's biggest fan today, but I thought he was good. He's very, very clever, kept it simple, didn't overcomplicate it, played it simple. Longstaff and Stack as well. So really, really good, lads. Good performance from the lads.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, lads. An hour and 4 minutes. A bit of a shaky start at the start of the show, but other than that, Darren's usually the one to control the whole lot of it. But last words, lads. Anything you have to say before we wrap it up?
No, just obviously. Go on, Dash.
Go ahead, John. No, sorry. Go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
No, cheers, mate. No, fine. No, just basically, obviously, the intro music didn't play for some reason at the start of the video. Not sure why, but this is one of those things. But yeah, no, as always, lads, pleasure being on with you both, and yeah, just really looking forward. I think nice little break now international, and we got a nice little transfer market now to look forward. I can't wait for it to close, if I'm being honest. When Monday comes around, I'll be happy at 7 p.m. But yeah, really encouraging signs. I think that's 4 points now, and you're looking at, this is a really good start to the Premier League. Now we can just rest up, recharge, go again, and come back firing. We got some good free games coming up now, winnable games, and let's look to pick up some points there. So yeah, really happy, really encouraged by tonight's performance. We needed it after a really tough week, and yeah, got to stay behind the boys now, which is what we always do, and march on together, as it says in the song.
Love that, Jam. Love that.
Yeah, exactly, Dylan, there, what Jam said there. Obviously, I think the next three are, look, it's going to be tough going down to Fulham. Sorry, Fulham. Going out to London is going to be tough. We know Leeds' track record going out to London is going to be tough, but I think Wolves away we could pick up something, and then Bournemouth at home is definitely a chance to get 3 points as well. So yeah, I'm looking at six out of the next 9, and yeah, really good start to the season. Exactly what Jam said there. If you had said at the start 4 points out of the first 3, you would have snapped your hand off. So yeah, good to see a fight back from the lads as well. And as I said, still a little bit in the transfer window to go. If we can kind of pick up 1, maybe 2 before it closes, I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, I'm delighted with the point. Being honest with you, I said a draw. Look, I said 2-2 to be honest with you, but I'm delighted. It's definitely positives. Me and Jam said at the start of the video, there's obviously room for improvement considering the offense line. But other than that, I'm pleased with it. I didn't think Newcastle brought a whole lot to it, considering with suspensions, injuries, and whatever else that they have. But
their fans were disappointed. There was a couple of Newcastle fans walking back from Ellen Road back into the city centre, and they were kind of disappointed, but they kind of held their hands up and said, like, Leeds nullified us today, that Newcastle's game plan just didn't work. Their top players like Guimaraes didn't step up, Tonali didn't step up as well. So it was really encouraging to hear, really encouraging performance to Leeds, that we're able to keep a team like that full of very, very good players, kind of at bay and, looked it better, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Right, lads, anything else you have to add before I wrap this up?
No, just thanks for having me, lads, in the last few minutes.
Love that. I'm delighted you came on.
Because I possibly can. But yeah, keep an eye out for the match day vlog, lads. A very good man said. Didn't do too much talking, kind of just recorded the whole day, so you guys can kind of see what it's like travelling over from Dublin over to Leeds. Loads of chants in there, loads of atmosphere, and yeah, just a fantastic day.
I wouldn't know.
Right, guys. It met the great Gary Kelly, Dylan. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh no, I did. Yeah, definitely seen it. Yeah, no, 100% seen it.
The legend Gary Kelly was on our flight today on the way over, so I had a bit of a chat with him in Leeds Bradford Airport. So yeah, just great.
Lots of words.
Rub it in.
He's rubbing it in. Yeah, it's not even rubbing it in. He's actually just sprinkling a little bit of salt on my wound, as already is.
Literally, as soon as it's over, I'm gonna go in for a shower, get changed, and then I'm heading back out to the Mill Hall Arms for a couple of points for a bit of a sing song. Gary Kelly's going to be there as well, so I'm going to have a point with Gary Kelly as well, so I'll make sure to add that in, and then just on a couple of videos and upload it as well. So
nice.
Yeah, keep an eye out across the Only Leeds Bros YouTube and social media and stuff like that.
It's here first, lads. Get yourself down to the Mill. I wish I could if I would, but other than that, I can't. So, guys, that is it for your Leeds versus Newcastle match reaction. Before you leave, please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and drop in the comment box below. And we love you as always. And as Darren always says, mind yourselves, mind each other.